Hello, this is Dimitri with UGears US, Ukidz LLC. We're going to be working on the next model, which is a flight starter. That should be one of the fun models to build and obviously fun to play with afterwards. So this model consists of a hand starter, which you wind up, and then there's a little airplane that you shoot, and then it flies in whatever direction you point it to. So let's go ahead and start the assembly. Open the model up, as always. Check what's inside. We got a box. So there's a airplane. Parts for the airplane are right inside there. And let's see if there's anything else. So we got some rubber bands. We got smaller ones, regular size, and then there's some thick ones. Got a little sandpaper piece, candle wax. Now obviously this is parts for the airplane. So I'm gonna put these aside for now. And we're gonna go ahead and open up the other well, actually the boards with the manual, instructions manual. And as always, I usually put the boards on the side for now. And let's start with the manual. So there's another two airplanes in here, which we can assemble and, or not assemble, but build into the model. And then let's go through the instructions. So the first page, just general warnings. There's a list of the spare parts. If you accidentally break one, or if it's gone missing, or if there is a breaks by itself, whatever the reason is. So there's a list of parts that are already on the board just as extra pieces. Spare components to say, they will have add plus sign right next to it. And then let's go with the regular warnings or legend that is inside the booklet. We have a little candle wax sign with a toothpick and a gear. That means every time you see it, you need to wax the part with a little piece of wax that was provided there. We can open it up right now. If you see the exclamation point, that means it is you need to pay close attention because for whatever reason, if it's a mirror or if something else, this sign is for symmetry. Obviously, this one is if you need to use the white sandpaper. I'm sorry, and this is if the parts are fragile. You need to cut it out rather than push it out with your fingers. This is an actual scale for the rubber bands to the size that you need to make. And actually throughout the booklet, if you see, it will show you the dimensions on there. And actually those are to size also, so you can just use that and measure your rubber band to that picture in the book. Then there is a helping tool somewhere on the boards. And let's see, which you can use to push out the parts and or let's see where it's at. Don't see it yet. Oh, it's right here, right on the board number 1 in the bottom corner here. So like a little helping tool that you can use out to push like a smaller pieces out just by pushing right into it, or actually with this little piece sticking out in the back. So let's put the boards aside for now. There's also, I notice on the board number 2, there's also a ruler on here, measuring tool. It's in millimeters, should correspond to the regular dimensions. So it is to scale also, so you can use that as well. All right, so we got our helping tool, and let's go ahead and start with the assembly. Oh, just come back a little bit for the spare components. If you break any other ones that are not Here you can contact, if you purchase the part or you purchase the model directly from me or one of my affiliates, you can contact me at info@ugears.us, and I will send you the replacement at no charge. Otherwise, the replacement at no charge is from the manufacturer. They ship from Ukraine, so it takes about 3 to 4 weeks for shipping. Unless you want to expedite, then it's $3.50 for the postage, just a shipping charge. The parts are still free, so if you purchased elsewhere, I can expedite it for you to ship it from my US warehouse, or we can order directly from the manufacturer. So let's go ahead and start with the assembly. We're on page number 4, step number 1. We need part number 1. Part number 1 is the large one right here on the left hand side. So you punch it out and get part number 2, which is going to be to the right here. So once again, those smaller parts, you can use that little helping tool, little end on there. Now on the part number 1, we need to see to make sure this weird shape opening is on the left hand side, and the thinner portion point away from you. So this opening is right here on the left, and we put our number 2 part on the right hand side. There's 2 holes there, so I just put it in. The next step is we use part number 3, which is on the top right side of board number 1. So we just punch that part out, and with the word open facing the bottom, just push it inside of that number 2 part that we just made. Just put it in. So we need one more number 2. And that part goes right where the end of that number 3 is at. So we just push it in, and we're done with step number 3. Next, we're going to put that one aside for a second. We need 2 parts number 4 and part number 5. Both of them, both parts are on here. Actually, all 3 parts. So part number 5, and then parts number 4 are right next to the number 2 that we just, to the left of number 2 that we just pulled out. So number 4 is, once again, we see the exclamation point, so these sharp edges facing towards the left with the away and left from you. So we insert part number 5 with the little, so it's a little trigger type of deal. We insert it in the last 3 holes on the right hand side with that pointing part to the left, same direction as those little sharp points. So we just insert it in. Now we pull up part number 6, also top right corner in the same cluster of parts that the other parts. So if you look at that part, there is a longer side, which is B, and shorter side, it looks like a letter H. Shorter is A, longer is B. So with the B from the bottom of that sub-assembly that we just did, with the longer side, we insert from the other 2 holes that are in there. So in order to make the insertion a little easier, you can use a candlestick on the tabs, and then it should slide in much easier, and push it all the way in until those parts stick out a little bit from the other side. So we got that sub-assembly step number 5 done. I'm moving on to the page number 5. And this sub-assembly goes from the same surface. It goes into the 3 holes that are right here, right next to the number 2, upper number 2 that we inserted. Also, before we do that, we want to wax the sides. So along this long slot, you want to sand a little bit, just a few strokes. You want around this round opening. And then from the back side, same thing around the long slot. You want to apply a little bit of a sandpaper, not much, just make it a little smooth, nice and smooth. So here we need part number 5 with that tabs down. You can apply a little bit of a candle wax on it. We insert it right into that slot that we just opened up. And then part number 7, which is also on board number 1, It's in a little, let's see where it's at, halfway between the middle and all the way to the right from the center line. We insert part number 7 into the the 2 tabs with the slots in them to lock that part in. And so now it should move back and forth fairly easy in that slot. And we move on to the next step. So next step is we need part number 8. There are 2 of them. So, and they do recommend for us to pre-cut it. So you look for little tiny connection points that are on there, and you apply your little X-Acto knife just to get it out. You can still try it with your fingers, but there is a higher risk of you breaking the part itself. So you just, all you need is just to snap off those connection points, and the parts will come out pretty easy from the board. So we need 2 number 8s, which are on board number 1. Then we need part number 9. It will be right next to the right of it. And then 2 parts number 10 in the top right corner, along with the part number 11 that is right below them to the right. So now any parts that are round, I'd recommend to use a little bit of sandpaper. I use a little file that I have. You just sand off the connection points, so on both number 9 and number 11. Connection points are that little line that are across, and you want to apply lubricant on it, which is a candle wax that was provided with the model. On top of it, parts number 10, because those are gears, I would also put a wax on the gears. Most likely they will tell you somewhere later in the manual to do that, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna do it right away, because usually a rule of thumb, if there is a gear, there is a connection. If there is a connection, there's a lot of friction, so we need some lubrication on there. So make the gears, make sure these 2 points match up, and then they go through number 8 on the bottom there. Then you put it on, and you put number 11, locking it from the back, and number 9, locking it from the top or front. And then that goes through the center hole right here in the sub-assembly that we just did. So part number 9 is inside there. It's going to be spinning inside the hole. So that's why we require the lubrication on it. Next, we need 2 ports in step number 3. We need 2 ports number 12. They're right at the center here, middle of the board. And same thing here. It doesn't look like we need a lubricant on it. So I'm gonna leave it off for now. And these 2, make sure your direction is for the teeth are counterclockwise, and we put 2 of these with matching dots right next to each other, just like this, onto that long rod number 8. Moving on to the page number 6. And next one we got part number 13 and part number 14. So part number 13 is going to be on board number 1, bottom left. We just need 1 of those. And then part number 14 right above it. So part number 14, there is a longer side B on that opening and shorter side A. So we need to make sure that we insert it the right way. The A is longer than B, so we need to make sure we get it nice. top. So now we put number 8s, so the longer side is along the long axis of the board, and number 14 also the same way along the long side. You put it right on top of number 13 that is on bottom there. Step number 5, we need 17 of number 15. You want to wax a little bit number 8s. That way it'll make the assembly of the number 15s much easier. And also there is 17 of them right in the center of that board. We'll push them all out. And once you're done, they do ask us to send them off. So the connection points are actually, make sure there is nothing in between. Connection points are inside the little loops, so we should be fine. And go ahead and insert those. There's only one way you can put them on number 8, and that's the reason why you needed the little lubricant on there, is because they are very tight sitting on it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So all the way to the top. Now, since they're much easier, I'm just going to apply a little bit of sandpaper all around. Just don't press too much, because otherwise you're going to get it out of shape. And then we apply wax on the outside as per the last part of it, step number 7. All right, so we're done with that. We're moving to the bottom portion. We need step number 1 are parts number 16, 17, and 18. They all still on board number 1. And number 16 is bottom right next to the helping tool. Number 17 is right above that, and I'm gonna use my helping tool to get that out. And number 18 is, let's see, that's gonna be on the bottom all the way. All right, so we need to wax the top portion tab on there and the bottom little step there. Now number 17 goes right into the top 2 holes. That's the first step. And then the second step, it goes number 18 with the tab goes right into the hole below. And then step number 2, we put number 19 part on the bottom, which is a top right here on the right hand side. And I might as well, for step number 3, I'm gonna take out 2 of the 20s. So number 19 goes 18 goes right into number 19, that little tab, or step I should say. And then number 20s, with that little sub-assembly pointing up, number 19 being on the bottom, the sharp edge should be facing up. So it's, we insert 19 and 16 into that 20, or 20 onto 16 and 19, same thing, match the direction. just like this, facing up. All right, moving on to the page number 7. We're gonna put that one aside. We need from board number 2, part number 25, top right at the center, and then parts number 26, which are on board number 1, on the bottom right, and we need 4 of those. And that goes into with the hole being on the right, the little round up part facing left, we insert it into the 4 holes that are on the left hand side there of that unit. Once we've done that, we apply a little bit of a wax on the step right here on both sides, and I would actually apply a little bit in the hole, try to get it into that slot. The sub-assembly that we just did with it pointing towards the left top, we insert that part with the little tabs right into the part number 25. Now we're gonna put it aside for a second. Step number 3, we need parts number 24, 2 of them, 23, 2 of them, 21 and 22. So I got 23s, then 24s on the opposite side, on the right hand side. They're slightly smaller. And then 21 is on the left here, and 22 is right above, also on the left. That one I'm gonna use the little tab to get it out. All right, so we're sending parts number 24, which are a little smaller, and I would apply wax on it also, which is on the next step. But we can do it right away before putting it onto the sub-assembly. All right, so part number 22, 21 goes right on it, right into the middle. Let's see. Squeeze it right to the center. Then 2 23s on both ends, as far as they can go, and then 24s to lock them up. Oh, not really, but, and make sure it's symmetrical. The next step is we insert that part with the hook into the hole that is right here on the right hand side of the sub-assembly that we just did, and we put a little bit of wax on that little hook on the long piece of that sub-assembly. So that would be locking mechanism there. Now the next step, you want to get another part number 25 on board number 2, top left, and then we wax a little bit on a little parts number 26, the tabs, just to make the insertion easier, and then we wax a little hook on the bottom there, and then matching the position of the other one, we put that part number 25 in place. All right, nice and tight. That completes step number 7. We're on board page number 8. Step number 5, sorry, on page number 7. We're on page number 8, step 6. And let's see, so when we turn it upside down with these little parts, when we unhook it here on the bottom, that's step 1, that should come out. And then come out all the way to that. Here you go, little hook piece, and that should lock it, like that tab up, the little hook piece. So I just forced it up just to get it going. Put a little bit more wax on it, and it should be good to go. Now we need 40mm rubber band. Step number 7. 40mm, that's shorter one. That's the small diameter one. Yep. Just double check. That's about 40mm diameter. We rotate it in half, kind of making like a looping a little bit, and then once we lift that up, let's see, first one we put one side onto the little hook and that extended piece that is on the inside right here. I got one part. Let's redo it again. So we got both of those on there, and then around the little tabs here, just like this. So it should be on a hook and these two tabs at the top. Now we press it down and then lock it up here with the little hook. And now we need to get another short one or small rubber band, wrap it around and make a loop, make a nut, and then we need about 10mm, so get it as close as possible to the size specified. Tie up that nut, so we're a little larger, but should be fine. And then we take a little X-Acto knife and snap the longer part out. So now the 10mm goes onto little tabs here and around the lock. So I'll put one side in. So you kind of like stretch it up, you push it through that hole and get one end on it onto the hook, and then same thing on the other side. The problem is getting it all the way in, so let's see if I can use the helping tool just to push the centerpiece in. So it also gets hooked, and here we go. One side is done, and then the other side is also on there. So just like this. So it needs to sit completely on that two little hoops. We can move that little nut over onto the inside so it's not sitting on the way, and then when you press that, it'll snap up, shoot up our portion there, a little part. Open it up. And I would put a little bit of a wax on this piece also, right at the top. So when you lock it up, you still need to kind of lift it up a little bit to get it hooked. Alright, so we're done with that sub-assembly. Moving on to page number 9. And then we get back to that little plate that we have, and there's 4 tabs. Put a little bit of a wax on them. And then tilting forward, we just on the last 4 holes, or let's see, no, yes, the last 4 holes that are outermost, and that we'll put it into our sub-assembly. All the way in till the boards are flat against each other, just like this, and we're done with the step number 1. So step number 2, we need part number 27, which is on board number 1, and top right side here, and then that 27 goes right next to the side that is open into the holes, 2 holes, with that little longer piece facing away. And number 28, there's a little, which is also on the board number 1 on the right. That one goes also with that opening. There's a little slot goes away, and that slot should match this slot right here on the trigger. And then we need to put a little bit of a sandpaper, which we did earlier, so we should be good on that. But still, just a little sandpaper in there. And then we insert the number 28 in there also. Just like this. All right, next step, we turn it sideways so this handle that we just attached is to the right. We use part number 29, which is on board number 2. No. On the top right here. Use the tool to push it out. And then because there's a connection point, so I'll put a little bit of a sanding there, and then we wax that portion, the back face, right? And then there is a little dot on here, so that dot facing in right now, and the little opening facing towards left, we insert it into that hole in the 28. So, and if you move the trigger, you can get it right into the trigger hole also. Next up, we need part number 30, which is to the left, right below 54 there. So I'm gonna punch it out. And that part number 30 goes right into the holes, kind of keeping the number 29 in place. Just like this. And we're done with page number 9. Moving on to the page number 10. I'm gonna put that a little bit on the side for right now. So we need parts number on board number 2, parts number 80, 31, and 32. So 31 is the bottom left here, right above 56. 32 has a word safe on it. Is it to the right, right below 25, to the right of the center line. And then that's number 32, and number 80 would be bottom right, right next to the number 2. Now, with that longer piece facing to the right and away, we put safe into the large opening, or actually 80 is first. And then part number 32 is second, with the safe facing towards you, the right way. mesh these parts together and feed them in all the way in. Now the little tab here we need to wax, and then that part goes right, fits into that little safety thing that we inserted in there over the second hole from me. So, and then we lock it up with port number 33 and 34, which are also both on board number 2. So 33 is the top right here. It's actually additional one. So there should be 33 right at the center, right above the middle and to the right of the center line, and 34 is on the other side, kind of like symmetrical view. So we 33, we're gonna a little bit wax or sand the connection points, and then apply the wax because it's gonna go inside the hole. And then 34 we push right through it, and 34 the long side should be in the shorter axis of that little sub-assembly, and then we putting it into this hole that is second. Just like this. It sits nice and tight in there as far as it can go. And then we're in step number 4. We need the little longer diameter, and we should get that one to also get a nut on it and get it to about 6 millimeters, which is a very, very small, tiny little piece. Nice and tight. Snap it off. Put it aside, and then it goes underneath onto that little part that we have inserted here. So there's 2 hooks. Goes on one side, which should be fairly easy to put on. Or not. Since it's a very tight piece, and I think I got it a little smaller, probably like at 4 millimeter. Let's see if it's gonna be, if we're gonna be able to put it on. So I'm gonna use a helping tool, since you might not have the gonna try to hook it up onto the little tab that is sticking out there. And just flew away. Good thing not too far away. Gonna give it a second try. Right, I got it hooked on there, and then I stretch it out and put it on the other side on the same hook, and it jumps again. And we're gonna keep on trying until we get it right. So get it on a hook on one side, and then wrap it around on a hook on the other side. Now the little piece, it should have a rubber band over like bottom portion on the rubber band and give it a little resistance for the safe switch. Moving on to the page number 11. And now we need, let's see, part number 35, which is on the top right of the board, with the one with some additional ones. Push the middle out, and then we have, let's see, little A piece, and B piece is the longer one. So we turn the handle, this front larger handle, to the left, and the B side goes closer to you, and a little bit to the left. So that goes inserts over the long rod, and it doesn't look like we are doing any. We're not connecting it to anything yet. Then we open up the little trigger thing. Let's see if we can pull it out. Now with my finger, I pull the trigger and lift it up. Actually, it's supposed to go open, would have a little trigger action on there. And immediately I noticed that I did that part number 2 incorrectly, so I'm gonna reach in there right now and get it out. Push the open down a little bit so that little tab is beyond that number 2, which I hadn't correct in my case, and push number 2 right back in there. Once again, open it up. Then we part number 36, which is on the left hand side with also some additional parts inside on there. Pull those out, and that one goes to, let's see, with that opening towards left, the 2 holes towards the back, we slide it in, and we get the little rubber band piece here onto the hook that is right in the middle of that number. $36 piece. Just, I don't know if you can see it, it's right here on that hook. And then we put that one over that should be from inside, not from the outside. So the rubber band should come from inside. So I'm gonna unwind it and then put it back on. Make sure it fits in all the holes properly. There's 4 of them right now. And once you get it in, it's all correct. We're done with step number 6 on page number 11. Moving on to the page number 12, which is not marked. And we need to insert 13 This one is still wobbling around the bottom piece, right? Let me double check. Yep. So now we insert 15 number 13s, which are all on board number 1, and there's some on board number 5. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 are on board number 2. And now it says, for correct operation of the rubber motor, it is necessary to adjust the height of washers number 15 with the help of additional washers number 15A. installing them on the axis so that the tip of the spike is about 1 millimeter free, and the height of washer number 13 using washer number 13A respectively, so they're flush with the top edge of part number 14 to the bottom edge of part number 36, figure number 3, page 12. So let's figure that one out. All right, let's go ahead and then put those on. So we do one, now I move them all the way down to the base. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we have 15 of them on there. And then we check the height, and that should be the bottom of part number 13 when it's tight on the stick, or number 8. It should be about the bottom of this piece number 36, right? Should not stick out on there. And then we use parts number 15A and 13A. It's actually part number 15. So if that one is a little bit below, then you use 13A to get the to the correct height, because this is a little bit thinner board. So in our case we need about 2 of number 15. That's all due to the, actually number 15s are on there, so we don't need to worry about that. So if we do have about a millimeter sticking out on there, so if we wanted to adjust it, we need to take the top 15A and put one on there, the shorter one, a little shorter. So I got about a millimeter sticking out, which is what we're looking for. And then the bottom of the 13 is matching the bottom face of that part number 36. So it should be like at that level right here. Now, because of the board thickness, there's a little bit variation. So you might need to, if it comes out, if your number 13s come out a little bit higher, so you take the regular 13s out and you put 13As on there to make it thinner, so like that bottom portion levels out, or like 13 is level with the that part number 36. Now, and the same thing with the 15, you take 1 or 2 out and mix it with the 15A to get it to the right height. So that's the number 8 sticks out only 1 millimeter. So I don't need, in my case, I don't need these 15A, so I'm gonna put them aside. Moving on to the page number 13. I guess I got lucky. 37 and 38, they're both on board number 2. So 37 is to the right, and then 38 is on the left hand side. And then here we need to see, make sure the teeth 37 are facing clockwise in this case. That goes inside the part number 36. And then 38 goes on top of it, same teeth facing the same direction. That's our step number 1. Step number 2, we press the little safety and put the trigger, push the trigger back. First we need the long or 60 millimeter rubber band, that's the larger thin one. Loop it in 2, and then that goes onto the, let's see, little part with the teeth. So step number one, we lift up that little floating piece on there. So we go the rubber band onto the hooks of the bottom portion, just like this. Then through the inside of that floating piece, and then we take our hook the helping tool, we line up 37 and 38, wrap the rubber band around the hook and pull it out through there. So we're done with step number 13. As we pull it out, we pull it further out, we get a part number 39. And that part number 39 is on board number 1. So I'm gonna release it a little bit, so I'm gonna move the rubber band a little further and kind of leave the hook there. Let's see, so my 2 hands are free. I'm gonna get the parts number 39 out there on the right hand side, and I need a helping tool to get those out because they're tiny. So at least we're gonna get one out right now with my fingers. It's a little struggle, not much. And then with a shorter piece facing up, we push it through the rubber band, get the helping tool out, and then insert it into the number 38 and number 37. Make sure it's hooked on both. Ends there of the bottom piece also, just like this. And hooked on the number 39, and we repeat it 4 times. So we need, let's punch out the other 3 39 pieces. Get those out, and then we need 3 more rubber bands. Now I'm gonna rotate that. So that's why we needed the trigger to pull back a little bit. Portion we rotate also, push the hook through, make sure it's through the inside of that floating part, pull it out, turn it sideways a little bit, get part number 39 in there, get the hook out, part number 39 in, matching with the 37 and 38, and rotate it around again. Oh, got the rubber bands here, loop them, put them on, push the hook through below, hook it onto the rubber band, pull it out, turn it a little bit, get the part number 39 through, get the helping tool out, install 39 all the way in, and one last one You have some spare 39s in case if you break them. All right, we're done with page number 14. Got all 4 rubber bands installed. Now next step is, let's see, parts number 40, 41, and 42. So we get combine those together. So the parts number 40 and 41 on board number 3. Get both of those out. There's some spare components inside of those. We get those out. And then parts number 42 are on the top right of board number 2. Use my helping tool and get them out there. Now, bottom portion with the longer curve towards away, towards wind up towards you, we put part number 40 on top. No. Match the shapes. There you go. So wind up should be up, and then you match the 2 shapes of 41 and 42, and then insert number 42 through both parts. And 42 on the other side. All the way through, kind of like a double trouble. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then 2 parts number 43, 42. Which would be on the board number 1, top left corner. There's 4 of them. So we just need to take 2 out for now. And those 2 with the curve shape matching the curve of part number 40, we insert it into the 2 openings on the right and left hand side. Just like this. Now our next step, and it just iterates there that the curvature should match. And our next step is to put that upside down with the longer piece facing that way, wind up facing you, into that little sub-assembly with the little gears. And make sure it enters correctly. Once we complete that, or make sure it sits flat, so like those little tiny pieces will lock into the gears when needed. I'm gonna put it aside for now. Now we need part number 44 and 45. 44 is on board number 2, and 45 is right above that. 2 of them. Take out the center portion, and then the wording facing you, we insert it into the center hole on the right, and then 1 hole on the left, all the way through, all the way to the surface. Done with page number 15. Moving on to the page number 16. Now with these 2 openings locking on here, we insert that part into the slots of parts number 41 and 42. And then there is 2 little openings there that we need to get those little tabs into. Get the openings and get the parts. Kind of have to blindly find those spots to push them in and to lock it in. Make sure it's locked on. And we use part number 46, which is the center of board number 2, to put to lock all these little parts number 39 there. Once we complete that, I think that's as far as it can go. We go to step number 3, which is part number 47 on the bottom right. Parts number 49 there, let's see, and 51. Part number 49 and 51. 49 is on board number 1. There's one right here. And then 51s are on the board number 2 on the right hand side here with the little holes. So with the UGears facing away and the little tabs facing towards left, 49 with the little hook also facing to the left, we go into the 2 openings, the rightmost openings. And then with the holes also facing on the left, we're doing the same thing with parts number 59. So they all go into the rightmost, well, 2 right hole, and then skip 1 and second from the left, or 3rd from the right. Then we take part, it's number 48, which was right below 49. And then parts number 50. We're gonna put the board on the side for now. And same thing, they're facing in the same direction, the little hooks, or not hooks, but the shape. And the holes facing towards right now. We insert those from the opposite end. Now we take parts number 52. 2 of them, they're also on board number 2, bottom right. There's long parts to it, so careful not to snap those off. Get those 2 out. And then these top tabs should face the same direction. We insert those right in the middle onto the little tabs that are made by these parts. Just like this, and we're done with that sub-assembly, page number 16. Let's see, we got a little bit left. Okay, we're on page 17. Let's see, step 1. We need to put that sub-assembly onto the unit. So insert it into the, let's see, 2 holes, 4 holes right here. So there's 4 holes outside and there's 1 in the center, 2 actually in the center that it has to fit into. And then into these 2 holes right there. So we're gonna go ahead and apply a little bit of wax on all the tabs. put it in. Just like that. And let's see, now turn it the other way around. And the other two number 43s, push them out. And those two, once again, is in the same directionality or the shape of the inner circle. We insert them on the sides here. So they go like right into this spot right here. On one side and then on the other side. So I think this one's a little bit easier to access first. So I'm just gonna do that one. One side is good, and then the other side also just a little. So we insert, oh, it's falling out. I insert the largest side first, and then squeeze it into the in between the teeth and the unit. Now we need to push down that little part that we had set. And let's see. There's one hole on one side and one hole on the other side. And through that, the hole that is closest to the trigger here, those are the ones that we're gonna put the part number 53 through. So part 53 is located on board number 2. It's in 2 pieces. So there's one says make 15 rev max. Oh, sorry, that's 53, and then 54 is the one on the top left. So top left goes onto the left side with that thing, sharp thing pointing forward. And then 15 revs max goes on the right hand side, or if you use the trigger, that's going to be on left. Just like this. Now we're done with that. Page 17, moving on to the page number 18. All right, so the next step, we need parts number 58, 57, 55, 56, 57, and 58. So let's see, we're gonna look on the board number 2, and got parts number, I got 57 here in the center. Just one of them for now. 56 bottom left. 55 right above it at 57. And 58 is going to be on board number 3. It has a little hand there. It's on the left hand side. 55 is first. Is this one, with that hook facing towards right side and away from you. We put a part number 56 in, and that one with the single goes into 57 right in the middle, and then 58 goes on top with a hand on the right hand side facing you, right hand. And then this we take part number, we take that sub-assembly, and on with a sharp end pointing to the right. So you were putting it on the face that facing you, on the side that facing you. Put a little bit of a wax here in this hole. And that's where that pointy thing goes into. And I'll do all the tabs just to make sure that it enters easier. And then the first tab, we insert them into the side here. Then we go bottom portion. Into there's one hole into that max rev 15. We need to lift it up. Snap it right into there. And then 2 tabs into the back, just like this. And then we do another sub-assembly with the same numbers, 55, 56, 57, and 59 instead of 58. 59 is on board number 3 on the right hand side, right below the middle here. Let's see, facing the other direction, opposite. Same thing, I'm gonna wax all of the tabs here. And now we turn it the other direction. So we insert the back ones first, or ones on the right hand side I should say. Then we insert the little tab here. Then 2 tabs in the back, or front by the trigger, I guess, middle in the center, and then this last one, which I forgot to wax, so it's a little harder, but still goes in fine. Just like this, and we're done with that sub-assembly. That was step 4. Now step 5, our parts number 61. They're on board number 2. I'm gonna use a helping tool there. And 60. Choose on board number 3. Top right. So 60 is gonna go into with the little tab facing towards the rubber bands, right into these 2 holes. Then on the other side, same thing, towards the rubber bands. Number 60 is going to go with a large tab facing up, locking these 2 parts together. And same thing on the other side, with a thicker portion facing up. We'll lock the bottom and top piece together. Now moving on to the page number 19. Need a rubber band here. Let's see, wrap it into actually the 40 millimeters, so that's the smaller one. Wrap it in two, or halves. Put one on this side, loop it around, or around this little tab. So the rubber bands just keeps it back a little bit, so that's a trigger. So keep it back. Now we're on the bottom side, page number 1. Oh, I'm sorry, page number 19, step number 1. We're parts number 62, 64, 63, and 65. So let's see. 62 are on the board number 2. 2 of them. 65s are also here, and 64. So 64 we need 2 for this subassembly. Then 63. Oh, well, we need 2 65s on this one too. To distinguish them, the 64 is 1 dot and 65 is 2 dots. And then we need 4 number 63s on here. So I'm gonna pull the whole thing out. So it's just easier to take these gears out. And I'm gonna take 4 out right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm gonna wax the gears. Once again, I always wax the gears because they always interacting with something. Sometimes it doesn't say to do so, but you want to make sure that your mechanism doesn't lock up. And then we need to send down the connection points on number 64 and 65. And put a little wax on those also. Now we need to assemble 2 of these. That's why I took out twice the parts. So 62 goes first, 64 goes second, all the way to the end. Then you put 63s, 2 of the gears, once again all the way to the end. And then we put 65, that's the 2 ones, locking these together. Same thing on the other one, all the way to the end. And 2 gears. And then little part number 65, which has got 2 dots. Now we need parts number 66, which is also on port number 2. 65 and 64. 65 is right in the center right here, and 64 is on the bottom right. And mine 65 fell out. And also we need gears 63, 2 of them. So that's exactly how many we get left. Once again, I'm gonna wax the gears. gonna send down the part number 64 and 65, the little connection points, and I'm gonna apply the wax to them too. Now we take part 66 and 64 first, that's with one dot, all the way to the end. Then part number 63, two of them. And then part number 65 with the two dots. So it's kind of like a small little gear here. Now, done with page number 19, moving on to the page number 20. Take the sub-assembly again, and we need part number 67. There are 4 of them, and all 4 are going to be on board number 1. Right here in the little a little below middle on the left hand side of the center line. And those go into the 4 holes right here, right around the gear, top gear. Once we get those up, we insert the gears, and these two, the slot should be in the horizontal axis, and then for both of them, so facing the same direction. And then we insert a little gear with the 2 dots, which is 65, facing top into that 3rd slot here, or slot hole, just like this. And now we cover it all with number 68, which is on board number 3. And now with the slot facing forward, so it goes through the hole onto the 4 little studs that we just put in the number 67s. Almost there. Let's see, the little gears need to get into the holes there. It doesn't seem like the gears are the problems. It's just, here you go, one part number 67 didn't want to go into 68. So now everything is in place, everything is good. And now we need, we're in step number 3 done. So step number 1 on the bottom there. We need one of the thick rubber bands cut in half. About 9, so about 4 1/2. two almost equal parts. And then we need part number 69. Part number 69 is located on board number 3, right here in the middle, center line, a little above middle. I'm gonna pre-cut that out. It's not an easy one to pull out. And then we wrap that rubber band in half. And then we put number 69. Actually, I'm gonna stretch the rubber band a little bit. Push it in and then pull out, not too much though. So try to set that 69 up and then stretch the rubber bands a little bit, putting it in, and then carefully push back a little bit to get as little gap as possible. Now we need 3 parts number 70. They're right here on the top left corner of the same board, whichever ones you like. Then combine all 3 of them together and put that sub-assembly that we just did right at the top slot here. So you got a little slot for the rubber band and for the part number 69. So I turn it upside down and just push it further. Now we wrap it around that little wheel, just like that. And then it's the same thing with the other side. So we need to half of the rubber band, part number 69, push it in, stretch it out a little bit, push it in, pull it back a little, make sure it's all the way in. And we do the same thing, 3 more 70s. Line them up or align them, and then put part number 69 through the holes. So we'll start with the first one, continue, push it in a little bit, continue with the second one, push it in, and third one at the end. Got the rubber band and wrap it around, and we get the second wheel done. All right, 2 of them. So now with the little tabs facing on the inside, we put in, or 69 putting on top of the little sub-assemblies that we just did. Or little stick outs. and 69 should be facing downwards. I'm gonna redo this wheel a little bit because my rubber band sticks out too much, so I'm just gonna push that part out again. And let's see, pull the rubber band a little more back. Alright, that's more successful than the first try. All the way in, wrap the rubber band around, and then insert it onto that part number 69, if I remember correctly. Let's see, mine got pulled down a little bit, so I'll need to use helping tool in order for it not to go up again. And then the part number 69 with the split facing up. Insert that little wheel in. All right. We'll fix up the rubber bands a little bit. And then we put parts number 71 on top of it, and 71 in the top left corner. And I would put a little bit, send them down, and put a little bit of wax on them also. So one of mine got chipped a little bit right here on the side. I can still use it, or I can go to the spare part that I have on here. Little sanding and a little bit of wax. And then we lock these two in. Because that 71 doesn't match up, so I'm going to use the one that broken one. Need to get a note on that. It's a little smaller in size, shrunk down a little bit. And all right, so we put the 71 and 72 on the back there. 72 is right in the middle, right below the middle in the center line right here. So that one goes, let's see, with the hole facing forward. Now we know where the forward, where the back is at. And then step one on the right is parts number 76 and 73. So 476, 74, 76 are on the 76 on the right, 74 on the left, or goes on the left, and then 73 is right in the middle here, or middle to the right. And then 73, let's see with the tabs facing on the inside. We put it on both sides. Then I see there's a little bit of material left in there around the hand, so I just gonna pull it out to make it look prettier. And now parts number 75 on the left. And 77 on the right. That's a long pieces here. So I just work them around, or work around to get all the connection points separated. Don't try to pull on one side because there's a chance it might break. And then we need parts number 78 also, which are little pieces left on the right side, right above the middle. And then part number 79 in the top right corner, top left corner, I apologize. Now we take part number 75, put in the front. There's 2 holes, 1, 2 holes, 3. Put that 74 subassembly in. Then we put number 78 with the longer side onto this part number 75. And then we do the same thing on the other side. We put a subassembly 76 in. And then part assembly 70, or assembly 78 with the longer side attaching into here. And then 79 would be in between with the little hole right here, below the exclamation mark, to clip those two together. Just like that. And then we get that one installed right on top. So we'll start from the back here. Going towards the center. Make sure you press it from the board also, and don't lock the rubber bands inside. So kind of make sure that pull the rubber bands a little bit forward. Just make sure you don't snap them with these sub assemblies. And if you do a little bit, make sure you free them up. 2 in the center here, then make sure that little parts or little 71s fit into the openings, and then finish up with the center ones here. You gotta be careful not to snap these pieces here. Like that. And now we're done with page number 21. Now we're going to build our little plane. So we need boards number 4, 5, and one of the longer pieces, the base, I guess. We need parts number 84 and 83. Part number 82 right here. There's additional one just in case. And then it goes through the 84 on the outside, 83 on the inside. I'm going to push the part number 82 through them. Just until it pops on the surface here. Then we take a longer part number 81. And push that part number 82 through the hole in the front. Careful not to snap that long piece. Then we take the body of the glider. There's that little hole up front. Goes through that part number 82. And then we take the other number 81, which is on board number 5 or 4. Whichever one you started with. And we put it through the other side. Lining them up. Now parts number 83 and 84. Once again 83 on inside. All facing the same direction. And then 84 on the outside. Alrighty. Now we cut another long rubber band in half. Now we take part number 85, which is on the bottom of board number 4 there. And we insert the rubber band through that opening in the center all the way to the end. Pull it back a little bit. And let's see, push it through that opening right here. Oh no, on the bottom. Until it lights up on the other side. And then we take part number 86. Push it through the rubber band and then wrap it around and put it into the slot that is at the top of the nose. And once you get it in, we rotate it counterclockwise. like this until it locks up inside. So we can keep the second part of the rubber band. So we got a nice nose and it doesn't get damaged all the time. We're done with that part of the sub-assembly. Now we take the rear wing. We fold this part up. And then these parts are pre-cut, so you can change the direction of flying, and that gets inserted right here in the bottom. I'm gonna fold it the other direction on the inside. Just like this, as far as it can go. And done with page number 23, moving on to the page number 24. So we take a smaller thin rubber band, and then that goes to keep the tail on around one end. Let's see. There's two little slots in there right around the wing and then on the other side. So we'll just keep that rear wing on there. So there's like two little slots. So top one goes through the top, bottom one goes through the bottom. And wrap it around. Then we need part number 87. That's the step number 2. And that goes into the center slot right here. With the little hooks facing up. And now we take the wing open up 2 little slots right here. That goes down and 2 little flaps up, and then bend these along the lines a little bit to give it like a round shape. Just slightly, you don't need to fold 90 degrees on there or anything, just give it a little bend. And then that wing with the tabs going down, and we slide that into the opening here, and little hooks on the side that they go through the holes that we just opened up. Just like that. Then the bottom opening goes into the slot at the back. These little tabs should be around the wood, like from on the other side. Let's see, tab here, and then another 40 millimeter rubber band, loop it around, then we put it through the hook in the front, and then the hook in the back. To keep the wing on. And now the airplane is completed. Moving on to the page number 26. There are 2 paper airplanes with the instructions on how to make them. So I'm going to put that one aside right now. Make the airplanes. Alright, there's 2 of them. There's 1, and this is number 2. So the green one is a number 2, gray one is number 1. Number 1 is going to be on the top, my assumption. So we're going to do that one first. So that one's already folded. Then we do the top of it. Let's see, that would be the top. And we go up to the first line. But you should be able to follow these directions. And then we should fold that in half also. Once we do that, we fold diagonally to the center line, one side, and then diagonally the other side. Now we fold it in. Run your fingers again to get the lines nice and straight. Then we fold kind of along this line right here. And fold it on the other side. Open them up a little bit, and you got yourself another good airplane. No, didn't fold it correctly. Apologize for that. How far do we need to go? Oh, there's another line here. So we'll go to the second line. There we go. So don't make my mistake. Just follow the instructions closer, but it still should fly. Actually, no, I was correct. I stand corrected. We just fold that first part in, the first fold that we made, and then the second one. Now I see what's going on. Now we have a nice little airplane here. Looks like a Concorde a little bit. So that's our second airplane, and then the third one, same thing. We go from the top, actually very similar, into halves, Two sides fold in, fold down right at the line that created a 90-degree angle. Then slide over, maybe half an inch or so, then fold it to this side, to the center. This corner gets right to the center line. Probably started folding the wrong direction, but the green should be on the outside. Then we fold the little tab here on the inside and fold it in half. And now we go about half of to the line here. And we do the same thing on the other side. And we got ourselves a second plane. Made it inside out. You can go the other direction. All right, and the last part, use only with glasses. We do 15 revolutions. So let's see. A little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's too much. So you need to do 15 max half revolutions. And then you release the safety trigger. And they should lock and spin. So because we just made it, it might take a little time to get everything settled in. And readjust. And one of my toothpicks fell off the top portion. Didn't have it sitting on here, so I'll need to hook it up and bring it back on. Let's see. Line it up. Let's see if I can hook it up and bring them up. So they just fell off the little hook on the top there, on that portion. Let's see. Great, I got a fix for you too. So I'm gonna use my to get both rubber bands onto the hook. Then I need to get it around, and I need to get that part rotated somehow forward to get it on the other side. So I got it hooked on one side, now I need to get it to the other. Need to pull that piece out a little bit. Here we go, now it's hooked. All sides all good? No, there's one more side that is missing a rubber band. And that's this guy right here, right in the middle. So that one's going to be a little bit harder to get in without much disassembling, or any disassembling for that matter. So I got, not sure why they fell off. Maybe I didn't have them sitting on that hook correctly. So I just need to hook it on one side and then bring it over. To the other side. Now it's locked. So all 8 of them should be on there. Let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should be enough. Boom. Little rotational motion. Unwind. Got it. Next, pull the safety back in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Boom. Here you go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Once again, you have a lot of, this is plywood, so you have a lot of friction in there, and that's one of the reasons why I put a little bit of the candle wax onto the gears there. So press the safety, squeeze the trigger, everything unwinds. It releases the airplane. One more thing, don't keep it wound up, because the rubber bands, it's a natural rubber band, so they will stretch over time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then you can put the airplane inside there. Make sure it goes in between the little wheels. This is like this. And then I'm gonna let it go, and it's gonna fly away. Hit my wall. So, not sure how well the airplane flies, and you can check it also with the paper ones. They also should lift off. Once again, make sure you just push it down in between those little rubber band wheels. That one's out. So all of them work. I'm not gonna test the third one. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, or send me email at info@ugears.us. Hopefully you enjoyed this model, and if you need any spare parts, if any parts are broken, you need replacement, you can contact me, and if you purchase through me or one of my affiliates, I will get it to you at no charge from US warehouse. Otherwise, I can order it from the manufacturer, which takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the delivery, or for small expedited fee of $350, we can get it out of the US warehouse with a little faster delivery. Once again, it's info@ugears.us. Any issues, comments, questions, either email or send us a comment below the video. Thank you guys. See you later. Bye.